Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rapid Chats with Angus. It's so good to talk to you guys again. It's so good to be back on your screens again after a long absence of, I think, about 4 weeks. Could be more than that. I'm not even sure. I haven't been quite active on this channel for a long time, and I do apologize for that. But I'm back, and I'm back to chat all things rugby with you. We had a nice weekend full of entertainment in the northern and southern hemisphere, and we'll cover all of those matches and discuss them in detail. So let's start off with Six Nations, where Wales came up against England, and England being the favourites at Wales' home ground, the Principality Stadium in Cardiff. But the home team of Wimperwiak emerging victorious by quite a margin, 40 points to 24, leaving Owen Farrell in the post-match interview rather, yeah, I can't even think of a word, disgruntled, frustrated. He hasn't had the best interviews, and that's another story for another day. The interviewer herself have been or has been verbally abused apparently, and it's not something we want to see in sport. But be that as it may, we go back to England and Wales. Wales playing something that we didn't see that much from them last year. They were very much looking like the Springboks of the 2016 and 2017 era, where things just went south for them after the Rugby World Cup. And it seems like they're picking up momentum after all the red card jokes of Wales winning against 14 men. They came up against 15, but it wasn't without any controversy. There was a knock on, well, it looked like a knock on. The ball went backwards off the Welsh player's leg, and then the try was scored. And there was a bit of a flashback if John Smith watched, where the referee was talking to Owen Farrell, and during that time, or just after that, he called time on, quickly taken penalty, kick across, and Wales scored. So two tries that the referee himself admitted was wrong at the end of the day, so that will be a big talking point going ahead. It's another new year, and we still talk about refereeing performances. I think they altered the laws way too much, and these guys can't seem to get them under the belt. So maybe we need to have a set of laws for like 5 years and say, listen, guys, we're going to work with this set of laws, and you have to master this, and we'll only make changes if it's really necessary. Because the way it goes now, referees seem that they have no clue what they are doing, and it's actually sad. Also, Ireland hammered Italy. Let me just double check that score. It was 48 points to 10. Not too much to talk about. Italy's participation in the Six Nations. They have suffered the 30th consecutive defeat in the competition. It doesn't make for good reading for the Italian side, and it doesn't help the world ranking if they're going to play against these top teams week in and out. They're currently 15th on the world ranking. So, for Italy, it's a case of, do we really need to be in this competition? I think it's maybe time to reassess where Italy rugby should be going, where they should compete, and maybe get sharper before they go back into the Six Nations. With all the talk of South Africa joining the Six Nations down the line, already being in the Pro 16 now, or not actually confirmed, but the talks are strong, and we are in the process of joining. But it might not be a bad idea for South Africa to replace Italy. For I think you can't even say the morale of the competition, but just in terms of quality, the competition is fine. But Italy seems to be that guy that you are the bully, and you basically take your sweep from him every day at school. You go get your lock points and you go home. There's no point of them being in a competition anymore. I mean, they are competitive for a certain amount of time, and then they fall away later on in the game. It's each week the same thing. So Italy, yeah, not too much to say there. Coach Franco Smith has a lot of work cut out for him. Um, and then we had, before I go to Super Rugby Aotearoa, sorry, the France and Scotland game has been postponed. And there's now talks of the French Minister of Sport, their government, apparently wants them to withdraw from the Six Nations. Now, the French, have been awarded the World Cup for 2023, and they've been building towards this World Cup, and they've been doing very well. They came very close to winning the Six Nations last year, only missing out by losing to England in the last game. And now this year they looked very, very smooth again. And at the end of the day, if they withdraw, what will it do to their plans and the development towards the World Cup? it might be a big bump in the road, and it might prove to be quite catastrophic if France, one, doesn't do well at the World Cup, or two, even doesn't win it, because there's a lot of talk about France being a dark horse now. And I know they've been dark horses since 1987 when the World Cup started. They were finalists then. By the way, they didn't win a single pool match, but they made the final. I'm part of this cool thing called the Great South African Rugby Quiz, and I learned a lot of things there. So I'll tell you guys all about that in another video, maybe sometime soon. But be that as it may, it could hamper the development of the French team, who seem to be quite on a roll now. But unfortunately, the COVID outbreak in the nation or in the country is of major concern for the French, and I do understand that health and safety do come first before any sport and recreation. But still, it could have catastrophic, repercussions for the French team going forward. And then we had the beautiful competition we called Super Rugby Aotearoa. And on Friday, we had the Highlanders up against the Crusaders. Crusaders once again proving they are the team to beat for another year. I think it's now the 5th year in a row that they seem to be the team to beat after winning their 10th title. I think it's their 9th title back in 2017, 2018. I can't remember now, against the Lions. But in any case, they've been on the roll since then. Scott Robinson doing something clearly very well there. Beating the Highlanders at Forsyth Bar Stadium in Dunedin by 13 points to 26. And then also we went to Wellington, where the Hurricanes took on the Blues, and they went down at home as well. All the away teams won by 16 points to 31. It could have been 18, but there was one conversion of Jordy Barrett that, well, it looked on the TV screen to be over, but I saw some pictures today on social media and even yesterday that the ball actually crossed the crossbar itself, not the crossbar, the upright itself. So you can't judge whether it's over or not, because it's like in the middle of the two. So it's kind of hard to say it was over or not. But it didn't matter to the result. At the end of the day, sorry for the status. It didn't matter to the result at the end of the day, because the Blues, they came up and they made sure they sealed the victory with Rico Ioane fielding a kick from Garden Passion that was meant for Wes Wilson. Turned his back, sprinted down the line, and went on to win the match sealer, game, set, as he posed match. It's an arrogant little boy, that Rico Ioane, but he's talented. You can't take it away from him. And then we had the SA Preparation Series. This is now for you guys outside of South Africa watching. So obviously the Super Rugby Unlock competition and the Currie Cup has finished up, and we are approaching the Rainbow Cup mark. But the thing is, these guys, they need to play and they need to be ready for the new competition. So many teams are starting to build depth now. We saw the Lions go up against the Pumas, and the Lions beating them by 32 points to 28. If I'm correct, that's correct. But it was a young Lions side, impressively, against a full-strength Puma side, who did not too long ago beat the Bulls by quite a margin. So it's quite a message from the young Lions team. Tian Swanepoel playing at 10, he's been absolutely brilliant. And one might think that he will get to play maybe one day for a national team. And I say a national team, although he's playing for the Lions, he's actually Namibian born, so he could play for his native Namibia. And if he's really good, with all respect to Namibia, he might be a Springbok, but that's still something we'll get to maybe one day. We'll see what happens there. I'm not gonna mention names, but a friend of mine who's a former teammate of his said to me that I think under 19 level he couldn't slot a kick, and then under 21s he slotted them all. So he perfected his craft down the way. So well done, Tian Swanepoel. Stormers at the new home at the Cape Town Stadium went down in their first match against a full-strength Cheetahs team. People on social media giving my poor Stormers quite a bit of flack, especially the Cheetah supporters. But you guys have to understand that you also had a full-strength team, and we had guys who, while they are good enough to play at this level because they pushed you to the end, Edward van der Merwe pushed Roscoe Speckman to the other end, in any case. But, building depth is what this competition is all about. And at the end of the day, you want to cast your net as far as possible, because your frontline players will always be there. COVID is a thing, so you want to make sure you have a squad to work with, and that these guys are, the real deal to go forward and actually fill the gaps when needed, when the senior players aren't available. So I'm not too hard on my poor Stormers. We've been in the media for all the wrong reasons. I feel the performance wasn't great. There's obviously a couple of work-ons, I would say. I think our defense from a kick chase or from a kick is not great. That's how Clayton Blommetjies and Russell Swiftman, found space and Pepman went not to score. A few defensive issues we have to sort out. But I was quite impressed by the front row of Netherlands for sure. Scarron Tobeni and Oliver Mark. Those guys are all second stringers and they shoved the cheaters front row who did very well in the Curry Cup to pieces. No complaints in that regard. I think without the Malherbe, Kitsov and Ubunambi, that was quite satisfactory because we can back up on those props if these guys aren't there anymore. And with transfers and all that talk, you don't know who's going to be there by next week even or even tomorrow. Anyway, and then the Bulls 87, Eastern Province 10. Again, boys versus men, unfortunately. People bashing Pierre de Villiers, but I feel it's a bit unfair on him. He had only had like club players to work with, and apparently the budget is 50 million versus 2 million. I think you can maybe make the sum and see it doesn't work out that well. So Coach Dev has a lot of work to do. And unfortunately for them, they lost the captain, Inira Debe, to injury as well. He'll be out for, I think, a couple of weeks. I'm not sure what the injury is, to be honest, but he'll be on the sidelines for the next couple of weeks for Eastern Province. So they have to look for a new captain. And to get the Lions next, it won't be easy for them either. And then the Sharks, after an early scare by Griquas, going 10-0 down, they beat them 35 points to 10. Apolele Fase once again showing he is class and he will be a Springbok sooner than later. Sharks also fielding quite some youngsters, but doing well in the process. I do feel the Sharks are building something special, with MDM Holdings on the books. And I still regret the Stormers not taking that deal, but well done to the Sharks. They also hired the former Springbok conditioning called Alter Walters, and those guys were super fit. So I'm sure the Sharks will be super fit as well going forward in this new competition. So well done to the Sharks Union. And also we had a bit of Super Rugby Australia. The Reds came up against the Rebels, and the Reds playing their last 20 minutes with only 14 men after getting a red card for 23 minutes. But it didn't matter at the end of the day because they have the law that you can replace a guy after 20 minutes. So they only played 20 minutes with 14 men. And Matamua, who's always a prolific kicker, had opportunity to slot the match winner after the Rebels were in the game for 77 minutes before the Reds took the lead. And then Tumua had a chance to win it at the death, but it didn't go down the middle as he would have loved, and the Reds came through and they won a game they probably should have lost. Now, the Reds is a team that have pushed the Brumbies last year and they came close in the final. And there's an old saying that a champion team wins games that they are supposed to lose. The Reds, by all account, had to lose that game. They weren't good. They were disrupted in the lineouts, and they didn't play the game that they played, over the last couple of weeks. Dating back to the previous Super Rugby competition they had. And still, they managed to win the game with 14 men. That's true character, I would say. And maybe Brad Thorne's work is coming through quite swiftly now for the Reds. And the Brumbies, they come up against the Waratahs, a massacre of note in Canberra, 61 points to 10. Waratahs coach under huge pressure. And he said himself, if they want him to stand out, he will stand down because he's not going to be some guy who hangs around the job because he feels the pain of the players and he knows that they are capable players, but something's not working for them now. And I was going to do the predictions now, but I think it's best to wait for the team sheets, mainly because there's no point in doing a couple of predictions now, then I have to add a few more because I only had the Super Rugby Unlocked, Super Rugby Aotearoa, sorry, and the Six Nations as well as Super Rugby AU predictions lined up. I haven't seen the team sheets of the SA teams yet, if they're going to field strong teams or B teams. So that's also a decision that I need to make. So yeah, I'll do maybe a video on team sheets and I can't make any promises going forward because I am quite busy during the week as well. If not, then I'll post on my page. You can check it out on Facebook, Rapid Chats with Angus. I'll post the predictions there. But hey guys, for now, again, good to be back on your screens and good to talk to you again. I hope, to see you guys soon, obviously, or to talk to you soon again. Again, I'm not going to mention names, but maybe a couple of interviews lined up for the next couple of weeks. Just need some clarity on certain people, players, and coaches. But till then, guys, I'll talk to you when I talk to you again. That didn't make sense. Anyway, adios, amigos. Cheers. Bye bye.